And I'm for electric cars. I have to be, because Elon endorsed me very strongly, Elon. So I have no choice. But he knows.
So that's Donald Trump saying he has no choice. He has to do what Elon Musk says. Well, interestingly enough, we have Tim Newell, CEO of Aspiration. I know Tim because Aspiration is a sponsor of ours. But I also know that Tim worked with Elon Musk at Tesla. He was the director of financial products there. So Tim, it's a perfect opportunity to talk to you. So how was it working with Elon when you were there at Tesla?
Cenk, it's good to talk to you again. And working for Elon at Tesla and also working for him at Solar City, which I did before then, is the classic double-edged sword. You get to work with brilliant people, the best people in the industry, and you get to work on really hard problems to help solve a mission that matters. And those opportunities don't come along very often. But working for Elon and working at Tesla, you had to be prepared to work enormously hard, crushing hours, because he was very focused on getting things done faster than people thought was possible. And if you wanted to say no, there better be a law of physics that said you couldn't get it done.
So it's funny because that clip that we played, Trump says, I didn't have a choice. I had to do what Elon wants, right? Now, of course, it's apples and oranges because that's politics, and now Elon's gone in a different direction than when you work with him. But it does go towards his attitude of no, this is not optional. We have to get it done. It's because Tesla, of course, is doing good for the world in that it's electric vehicles. And so I saw a bumper sticker the other day, Tim, that said on a Tesla, it said, I bought this car before I found out Elon was and then fill in the blank, not an expletive. But one more thing about Elon before we talk about, because you have this consistent theme, trying to working companies and running a company that's trying to do good in the world, right? And we just did a story about Ben and Jerry's and how they're doing the same thing. And that's why I love working with companies that are trying to do good in the world. That's what we're trying to do, et cetera. But on Elon, like I remember when Al Jazeera America came and bought Current TV, and I was on Current TV, and it didn't affect me at all, right? Because they had different rules for me, et cetera. But I hated the way, and it's not Al Jazeera proper, that exists. And Al Jazeera America, the cable station is gone now, and the people who ran it are gone. But they had such an attitude of indifference towards others that it drove me crazy and I couldn't work there anymore. But I don't know if it was like that or if it was a different feel at Tesla and Solar City. So what was your sense of that?
What you knew working there was that there was this really strong sense that it was the mission that mattered. And that was a great thing, but you also had to know that your interests would be sacrificed to that mission at any time. And your team may be vital one quarter, and the next quarter your team is not, and that team is gone. And that was part of the culture, and still remains part of the culture, that it's about achieving that mission, and nothing else matters than that. And that can be a really tough thing for the people who are helping to get it done.
Yeah, I imagine. I still don't understand how Twitter's standing after he fired like 75% of the workforce. I'll never understand that. So, okay, but what drives you? Like, why did you go to those companies who are trying to help with the environment? Now Aspiration is trying to help with the environment. You guys have, I was gonna say planted a small forest, but no, I planted a small forest by using my Aspiration card. You guys have planted a very, very large forest. So what was it that kept you driving you towards, let me try to do a little bit of good in the world?
The ability to look in the mirror and realize that what you do every day is trying to advance a mission that is really important to you. And when you can talk to your kids about what you do and have them understand that in every day when you go to work, you're seeking to get something done that you think is important for them and for the planet, it's important. And at the same time, you get to work with great people on really hard problems to build companies that you think can have an impact. And that's exhilarating and it's addicting.
Yeah, look, I had the same experience. I'm gonna get Ben Cohen on here too, and we'll talk that too, because those guys, they just stood up to giant Unilever to do some good in the world and fight for peace. And for me, I don't know, it makes me feel better. Like, so every time I planted a tree with my Aspiration card, every time we helped to do something a little bit positive at TYT, remember we got like water to people who desperately needed it in Mississippi. Our host, Dr. Rashad Ritchie, led that effort. I don't understand why more people don't try to do good. It feels good, it feels better. And especially if you like.
And every one of those little actions that you take, every time you planted a tree, and it felt like, oh, I'm doing something good, but the great thing is when you can put together a platform that combines your action with the action of a whole bunch of other people, and suddenly you find you've planted 30 million trees, which is what we've done. And there's a huge forest out there that didn't exist before, but exists now because of the work that you helped everyone do together.
Yeah, and so I want to come back to the idea of making a profit while doing that, because that's an interesting topic. And is that okay? Is that kosher? Is it not? I want to come back to that. But first, for the folks who don't know, what exactly is Aspiration? What does it do?
Aspiration is a financial technology company. We offer access by consumers to banking products and investment products. We're not a bank, we partner with banks, and we enable our customers to deposit their funds in bank accounts and spend and save in a way that not only is good for their wallet, but is good for the planet at the same time. So when you put your deposits in our accounts, you know that none of those deposits are going to be used to fund fossil fuels, which you can't say at your typical big bank. And at your typical large bank, as much as 30% of the deposits are used to finance fossil fuels. And for the average consumer, the biggest impact they can have directly is moving their money. And your money deserves better than sitting at a big bank financing fossil fuels. We also have a program, the Plant Your Change program. It's very, very popular for our customers. And through that, you can round up your purchases and take that small bit of change, and it's used to support tree planting around the world. And again, 30 million trees later, it really works. And we have a program through which we donate a portion of all of our revenues from our customers to environmental partners that we work with, some through the 1% for the Planet movement and some directly, including right now we're supporting the reforestation of land in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California that was destroyed by wildfires. And so the product is all organized to be able to let you do good for yourself with high interest rates at the same time on your savings, at the same time that you're doing good for the planet.
Yeah, and I want to come back to Elon about that actually in a minute too, and I want to come back to the idea of making profit while you're doing this. But to just back up what you're saying, so I know all these facts about Aspiration because we work together, and I know that so every time I transfer $500 to Aspiration, that's the equivalent of basically saving 235 driving miles, right? And I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but after I go on a long trip, I go, that's all right, I'll move some money to Aspiration, I'll make up for it. So I don't know if that's cheating, right? But at least it offsets it. Like you reduce your carbon footprint by 57% when you transfer your money, and that makes me feel good. So look, it's both for the consumer and for the people who work at the company that you get to feel good while doing something with your money. And Tim, all of that is a lead up to, I don't think that people realize the power that their money has. We talk a lot to try to get to change, right? But if you actually take action with your money, that winds up having the biggest impact, like the economic boycott of South Africa is what got, they didn't change their mind about race, they changed their mind because they would cut off the money, right? In the Egyptian revolution, because there was a general strike by labor and they lost money. So the power of money, especially by the left, I feel is underestimated. What do you think about that?
So moving your money is the single biggest impact you can have. And let's just run some numbers on that. So for the typical consumer, if you buy solar panels to put on your home, important thing to do, good thing to do. Over a year, you're going to save about 1.2 or 1.4 tons of the equivalent of CO2 every year. And that's good, it's great, we should all do it. If you then take the next step and switch to driving an electric vehicle, a Tesla or something else, you're going to about double that impact, a little less than double. You're going to be up to about 2.4 or so tons equivalent of CO2 a year that you're saving. If, however, you move your money, take the simple step of moving your money out of a big bank that invests in fossil fuels, you're going to double that again, and you're going to have 4.6 tons of savings of CO2 equivalent. So it really is, in some ways, the easiest thing you can do and the most impactful thing you can do. But it's not something that people really think about when they get up and think, oh, I want to have an impact today. They think about recycling, they think about solar, they think about electric vehicles, but they don't think about that easy thing that doesn't take a big investment, which is move your money.
Yeah, so I'll go back to Elon for a second. Did you get a sense that, like, you know how you and I are driven to do good in the world, and you guys have a green marketplace filled with like good guy companies, and I love that. I want to come back to that too. But do you get a sense that Elon, like, because he's a super complicated character, right? There's no easy answer for what does Elon think or want, right? So back in the day when you worked with him, did you get a sense that he was trying to genuinely do good in creating electric vehicles, Solar City, et cetera? Or was it just more ego-driven?
Every day when I walked into work, I walked underneath a big sign that said the mission for Tesla was to accelerate the transition to clean energy. And it was very clear to everyone who worked there that that was the mission, and that was important to everyone there and important to him. So was it ego? I think anyone who seeks to accomplish anything really large has to have some ego, because it takes a lot to get it done. But it was very real in terms of that goal. I disagree with his politics, and that's an understatement. But you can't disagree with the impact that he has had. He changed the whole auto industry, and had to fight all the way along the way to do it. And so he, as you said, he's a complicated guy, and what he was able to achieve is stunning. I can remember, regularly having to have meetings with him at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and walking through the factory down in Fremont, California, to a little conference room out in the middle of the factory floor where he was sleeping at night, and having to push his sleeping bag out of the way to sit down in the bench in the conference room to go ahead and have a meeting. And you can't deny that kind of commitment to do it. But at the same time, you also knew that when you sat down in that meeting, that not everybody who worked for the company at the beginning of the meeting was necessarily going to work for the company at the end of the meeting.
Wow.
It was that kind of environment.
See, that's super harsh, but again, complicated, right? So he's trying to do good in the world, but kind of ruthless in how he does it. At least at that time, in his own way, in his mind, right? And everybody has a different view of the world and a different view of themselves. And at the same time, also, like, Starlink is amazing. It's an enormously successful company, and then Twitter is a mess. So, like, who is this guy? I mean,
Starlink is amazing. Yeah, Starlink's amazing. My family comes from Vermont, and we have a farm up in a very rural part of Vermont. And there's a whole lot of people that would not have access to the internet up there, realistically, if it wasn't for something like Starlink. And so, but at the same time, you look at Twitter and you think, ugh, we could do without that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be in the green marketplace. So
no, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
So, okay, tell us about that before, and because it relates to the conversation I want to have about making a profit while doing good. So, what is the green marketplace and who's in it?
Green marketplace is part of the service we offer our customers. We have a collection of green or sustainable brands. So if you're shopping for shoes, you're shopping for a bed, you're shopping for clothes, you're shopping for cosmetics, whatever you may be shopping for, you can come and find brands that are very sustainable, and we've done a lot of work to go in and look at them, and you can get up to 6% back on your purchases just for making that choice to shop sustainably. And again, it's about making it good for the planet, good for your wallet at the same time.
Yeah. So that brings us to one of the things I want to talk to you about. Like, sometimes people on the left will say, like, no, don't make money, that's bad, that's wrong, you just give it all back to causes or etc. But I think that's a spectacularly bad idea. And the reason for that, I'm not saying don't give to charity, my God, definitely give to charity, right? But I think that if we provide an incentive for people to do good by starting companies that actually help the world instead of hurt the world, that might actually make a bigger difference, because then you don't just rely on good guys to start a couple of small and some now large companies, but it's a smaller number of companies that are doing good in the world, right? That's why you got the green marketplace, and it's not the entire marketplace, it's just the green marketplace, right? But that if people thought there's profit in it, that it might multiply that by a lot more companies. Oh, we make money by helping people. Well, maybe we'll help more people. What do you think of that concept?
This is very straightforward. If you want to have a big impact, if you believe in your mission and you want to have a big impact, you need to build a big company. And in our system, companies are one of the best ways to deliver impact. Profit-making companies are one of the best ways to deliver impact. And to do that, you have to grow. You have to take in capital. You have to provide a product that people want, and you have to make a profit doing it so that you can continue to grow and plow those profits back in and continue to build and have a broader impact. That is fundamentally one of the biggest levers in our system to be able to make change. There are other ways, and we do a lot of contribution to great organizations that are nonprofit organizations that are having a huge impact. We have tree planting partners around the world that we're working with, and their model is great. But in order for us to keep working with them and to expand that work we're doing and plant the next 100 million trees, we need to grow. And we do that by providing products that people like and really like and like paying for and feel they bring value, and we make a profit and we continue to grow.
Yeah, it's exactly right, because money is power and it's often used for bad things and selfish reasons, etc. But it could also be used for good. You plow it back into a positive business that helps the climate, that helps other human beings, etc., etc. So I'm an enormous believer in that. So last thing here.
And Cenk, I'm also really proud that I have a group of people working for me whose families are being supported doing that, and that they're also being able to build a life for their families, a good life for their families, and while working on something that they really believe in. And it's great to be able to get up every day and do that.
Yeah, again, that's why we get along so well. I feel the same exact way. We got 75 people who work here. We're trying to build a real network that gets to be bigger than CNN, so that we can have a positive message, bring a little bit of positive change in the world, and then meanwhile treat people with dignity when they work here and provide a good living for them. And so, to me, people who don't do good in the world, they have no idea what they're missing out on. Like they're blowing it.
I wouldn't recommend going with the sleeping bag in the conference room, Cenk. But
Well, I hear you.
huge respect for what you're building there.
But by the way, it's also good to know that that story is confirmed. Like, I didn't know if that was just urban legend, but it turns out no, he did sleep on the floor.
Maybe legend, but it's true.
Okay, all right. So last thing is, how do you think this, the financial product industry shakes out? Like, do the climate-friendly guys like you guys, Aspirations of the world, wind up one day becoming as big as JP Morgan Chase, et cetera, or does it just a portion of the market?
So you could say it's hubris because I'm a small startup and we're just starting out, and they're very big companies, some of the largest in the world. But again, let's look at some numbers. So 60% of consumers say that their climate change concern have risen in the last 2 years, and nearly 80% of US consumers would say that they want to live more sustainably. And they're also voting with their wallets. If you look at those companies who were able to make sustainability claims, about good, positive sustainability claims about their product over the last 5 years, that they have grown in sales 40% faster than those companies who are not able to do that. So it matters to people. And as the development of sustainable financial products accelerates, which it is now, and people are given the choice between a product that pays me great interest and gives me the features I want, and also really advances sustainability, and a product that that invests in fossil fuels and doesn't meet my values, that I think you're going to see an increasingly accelerating shift to those products, and eventually it will change the industry.
All right. Look, it's again very similar to how I view us changing the media industry. So it's good to know that there's fellow brothers and sisters out there doing that in different industries.
It has been great to partner with you, and we look forward to riding along on your journey.
All right, excellent. Tim Newell, CEO of Aspiration. Thank you for coming on, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.